welcome to Accounting and etc. So today we will be discussing about estate taxation, exemptions, and exclusions from gross estate. So when we say exemptions and exclusions, these are those which are not included or which are not part of the gross estate of a decedent, probably because of a provision of law or by the nature of the transfer. So exemptions and exclusions from gross estate generally have three classifications under Section 85 and 104 of the Tax Code as amended, under Section 87 of the Tax Code as amended, and under special laws. We will dive into each of these. So under Section 85 and 104 of the Tax Code as amended, we have three: capital or exclusive property of the surviving spouse. We have properties outside the Philippines of a non-resident alien decedent, and intangible personal properties in the Philippines of a non-resident alien when the rule of reciprocity applies. So first, capital or exclusive property of the surviving spouse. Well, this is of course possible because if the property is owned by the surviving spouse, that will not form part of the properties of the decedent spouse. Therefore, the decedent spouse is not the owner of that property, and therefore that should be excluded from the gross estate of such spouse. Next, properties outside the Philippines of a non-resident alien decedent. Again, by virtue of the situs of taxation, properties of non-resident alien decedent which are not situated in the Philippines are not taxable. Okay? These are not taxable and should be excluded from the gross estate of that decedent because insofar as a non-resident alien decedent is concerned, only those properties which are situated within the Philippines are taxed. And third, we have intangible personal property in the Philippines of a non-resident alien when the rule of reciprocity applies. Again, the rule of reciprocity states that if, for example, the country where that alien is a resident exempts or excludes the properties of Filipino dissidents in that country, then the Philippines would also apply that rule. So therefore, they should be excluded from the gross estate. Remember that intangible personal properties of non-resident alien are included in the gross estate of such alien when these are situated in the Philippines. But if the rule of reciprocity applies, we exclude these properties. Next is under Section 87 of the Tax Code as amended. First, the merger of the usufruct in the owner of the naked title, the transfer from the first heir, legatee or donee in favor of another beneficiary in accordance with the will of the predecessor. We also have the transmission or delivery of the inheritance or legacy of the fiduciary heir or legatee to the fideicommissary. And we also have bequests, devices, legacies, or transfers to social welfare, cultural, and charitable institutions. For merger of the usufruct in the owner of the naked title, here is an illustration. Minato died on June 1, 2020. In his will, he devised an agricultural land to Jiraiya, who shall use the property for 5 years and thereafter to Naruto. Subsequently, Jiraiya died, resulting in the transfer of the property to Naruto. So in this case, okay, we have three parties. We have Minato, who is the predecessor, and Jiraiya, who is the current decedent, and Naruto, who is the real owner of the naked title. Why is Naruto the owner of the naked title? Because after 5 years of Jiraiya's use of the property, Jiraiya must transfer it to Naruto. Jiraiya is so-called the usufructuary. He has the right to usufruct. And when you say right to usufruct, that means he has the right to use that asset. It's as if Minato has granted Jiraiya to use the property, the agricultural land, for 5 years. And thereafter, transfer it to Naruto as the owner of the naked title. Now, the transfer from Jiraiya to Naruto is not included in Jiraiya's gross estate because Jiraiya is not the owner of the property. He has just the right to use it. Therefore, that should not be included in Jiraiya's gross estate. The second one is transmission from the first heir, legatee, or donee in favor of another beneficiary in accordance with the will of the predecessor. So again, an illustration. Hiyashi died on June 1, 2020. In his will, he devised a piece of land to Neji as the first heir and thereafter to Hinata as the second heir. Subsequently, Neji died, resulting in the transfer of the property to Hinata in accordance with Hiyashi's will. So in this case, it's just like the illustration a while ago. Hiyashi is the predecessor, and then he transferred the property to Neji, who is the first heir, who died. So Neji is the current descendant now. Now, the transfer from Neji to Hinata, who is the second heir, should not be included in the gross estate of Neji because the transfer from Neji to Hinata is merely an implementation of the transfer which was originally mandated by Hiyashi. So that should not be included as part of the gross estate of Neji. This transfer, the transfer from Neji to Hinata, is also referred to as a transfer under a special power of appointment. If it's a general power of appointment, or the transfer is with respect to a general power of appointment, that should be an inclusion to the gross estate. However, if it's a special power of appointment, then that should be excluded from the gross estate. And again, this type of transfer, the transfer from Neji to Hinata, is a type of transfer under a special power of appointment, and therefore that should be excluded from the gross estate of Neji. Next, we have the transmission or delivery of inheritance or legacy to the fiduciary heir or legatee to the fideicommissary. So again, an illustration. Hiyashi died, leaving an inheritance consisting of several real estates to his favorite granddaughter Himawari. Because Himawari is a minor, Hiyashi appointed Boruto, an older brother of Himawari, as fiduciary to the inheritance. Before transferring the property to Himawari, Boruto died. So the transfer or the transfer of the property from Boruto to Himawari should not be included in the gross estate of Boruto, who is the current descendant. Why? Again, because he is just a fiduciary heir. Okay? The fideicommissary is Himawari. Okay? The delivery of the inheritance upon the death of Boruto to Himawari is not included in the gross estate of Boruto because the transfer does not involve a transfer of ownership from Boruto to Himawari. Because Boruto, again, as fiduciary heir, is only a trustee. Okay? He is only a mere trustee. And the delivery from Boruto to Himawari is a mere return of the property to the real owner, who is Himawari. So that should not be included as part of the gross estate of Boruto. Next, we have bequests, devices, legacies, or transfers to social welfare, cultural, and charitable institutions. All bequests, devices, legacies, or transfers to social welfare, cultural, and charitable institutions are excluded from the gross estate provided that number one, no part of the net income of said institutions inure to the benefit of any individual, and number two, not more than 30% of such transfers shall be used for administration purposes. Don't worry because problems give you the percentage of the use of the properties, okay, or the bequests, devices, legacies, or transfers for administration purposes. Sinasabi naman sa problem kung ilan yung percentage, but if not, then you have to compute. Okay. Therefore, if the transfer is used or the properties transferred is used for administration purposes, 31% nun ay ginamit for administration purposes, that would be included now in your gross estate. And if it's not more than 30, then that would be excluded from the gross estate of the decedent. For the last part, we have those exemptions and exclusions from gross estate under special laws. Here, I would not be discussing this too much because these are somewhat self-explanatory. So, number one, proceeds of life insurance and benefits by members of GSIS, that is in accordance with RA 728. We have benefits received by members of SSS by reason of death. We have amounts received from Philippine and United States governments for war damages, amounts received from United States Veterans Administration. We have benefits received from the Philippines and United States government for damages suffered during World War II, retirement benefits of officials or employees of a private firm, RA 4917. We also have payments from Philippines of US government to the legal heirs of deceased of World War II veterans and deceased civilian for supplies or services furnished to the US and Philippine Army. We have proceeds of life insurance under a group insurance taken out by employer but not taken out upon his life. Transfer by way of bona fide sales. Well, when we say bona fide sales, these are by nature or by substance onerous transactions and therefore not gratuitous. So therefore, that should be excluded from gross estate. We also have transfer of property to the national government or to any of its political subdivisions. Another one, which is very self-explanatory. Pera assets or personal equity and retirement account assets of the deceased contributor and compensation paid to private and public workers who contracted COVID-19 in case of death under RA 11494 or the so-called Bayanihan Act number 2. So these are those that are exempted or excluded from the gross estate of a decedent under special laws. Okay. So that ends my discussion for the exclusions or exemptions from the gross estate of a decedent. I hope you learned something from this discussion, and I hope that I can see you in my other videos. Okay. Thank you and good night.